We just come out of Halloween, and I try to be very respectful about that. I know there's thousands of kids that come through our neighborhood every year. I want them to get their candy and all that, but at the same time, I want their mommy and daddy to stay out of my grass. So this is kind of my way of politely saying, park on the street. Hey there, it's Pete with GCI Turf. Hope you're having a great day today. Got a little bit of yard work on to get done. We've been low 40s, mid 60s for the high, low 40s low, mid 60s for the high, low 60s maybe. And for me, I still have, that's plenty good weather to actually try to increase my color, give me a little bit more pop in the yard, that kind of thing. Of course, I'm not trying to overdo it with fertilizer and all that. I'm just trying to push it a little bit. And so I'm gonna get the yard mowed, and then we're gonna get some Green Punch and GreenEffect, Natural Adjuvant, mix them together and spray back there at the test plot. And I kind of got two ways I want to show you how to do this. One's to water it in, one way's not to water it in. And I'll show you both of those ways. So if you've been watching me, you know I've got these three big old crepe myrtles. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these maple trees, and they're starting to drop their leaves. And you can see my crepe myrtle leaves here. They're not super heavy, by no means. I keep them blowed off a couple times a week. But here's the deal with leaf removal. The way I prefer to do it is I blow my leaves. It is incredibly rare for me to vacuum them up or to mulch them up. I know there's millions of different opinions on it, what's best, how to do it, blah blah blah. I personally don't like the chopped up fine grounds that some mowers leave and leave that laying on top of the ground. I personally don't like it, so I just blow mine clean and then I mow. Of course, I'm not saying that's the right way to do it or the only way to do it. Oh, it's just a way to do it, and it's kind of what I prefer, and that's just what I've done since day one, and I don't plan on changing. Now you can see I've got some leaves left right here in the pine needles, and I'm completely content with that. It don't bother me one bit. When the tree is naked and there are no more leaves left, I kind of bring a tarp over here and I'll lay it out right here and blow the leaves on the tarp, roll them up, throw them on the truck and go dump them in the woods or at the shop or somewhere, and get my pine needle look back. Look at the neighbor's yard. It's looking pretty dang good coming on in. You know, you hear me talk about law enforcement and you know, firemen and paramedics and the folks that serve us day in and day out, and I try not to be biased on that. I do kind of favor the highway patrol. I'll just be completely honest with you, because I do have a brother that is a highway patrolman. And so when I got this email from a Virginia state police wanted to send me a t-shirt, I said sure. It's really touching, man. Lucas Dowell, he's 28 years old. February 4th, 2019, he lost his life serving in the line of duty in a simple, you know, where they go in and do a search warrant, and went into the house and a guy in the house shot him. You know, we call that a simple thing, a search warrant. And, you know, to the people who aren't in law enforcement, we tend to take those kind of things lightly, that the things that law enforcement do day in and day out to try and get criminal activity off of the streets and clean up the neighborhoods and clean up cities, and all the things that they do, I am absolutely guilty of taking that for granted every single day. See, folks like Lucas go out and do what they do day in and day out, so people like me can do what we do day in and day out. And I'm extremely humbled by that, and very thankful to Mr. Lucas and his sacrifice, to his community, and then here locally, the folks who serve and protect us, and then to all over the country, including the military, that allow us to live in this awesome place we call the United States and enjoy freedom like we enjoy it. I always like to fill up my sprayer about halfway with water, put my little mixing bit down in there and get the water stirred up a little bit. Add my product, make sure that's mixed real well. Alright, I'm mixed real good and I'm ready to go spray. Now, I apologize, I said 1801 and GreenEffect. I said Green Punch and GreenEffect. I meant MicroGreene and GreenEffect. I have cut back on the nitrogen. I've already put my winterizer out. I run 1 pound per 1,000 of Carbon X. That was probably 3 weeks ago or so. And basically all I'm after right here is the iron in these two products. I've got 6% iron here and 3 here. Of course, I'm giving it just a pinch more nitrogen with that, which isn't going to hurt anything this time of the year. And then I'm also giving the plant one last boost of micronutrients going into the winter. And of course, if you're in a deep, heavy freeze already, and you know you're kind of past the point of growing grass, this isn't for you. We're still like high 30s, low 40s in the morning, and we'll jump up to 60 really quick and be there for the majority of the day. Prime weather for cool season turf. So I'm just trying to set the yard up for a big time mow I got coming up, and we'll show you. That's kind of why I'm keeping it low. Hint, low. And so you'll see that when I get there. And I want to darken it up while I still have the opportunity, so it's nice and dark for the holidays. And of course, I might run this one more time. We're right at the end of October, and if we're anything like we were last year, we were super mild through November and December. And if that is the case, I might do this again in 30 days. If we all of a sudden plummet and go deep freeze and things are really cold, grass just shuts down, not growing, I won't do this anymore. Then I'll start back at it middle of February with my pre-emergent. So I got 2 ways I'm gonna do this. Number one, when I spray my yard, I'm gonna water it in. And then the second way is I'm gonna spray the test plot, and I'm going to use Natural Adjuvant with that because I don't have my watering all set up. I really don't want to get it out, just to be honest with you. I could do that here at the yard and not water it in. I could apply it without adjuvant and not water it in. There's so many different ways to skin a cat. I try to stress that, you know, this way, way number A or way number 1 is not the absolute only way to grow a nice yard. There's so many different ways to do it. And so I like to spend my time showing you all the different ways that I know how to do it. And so we're going to water it in around the yard, not going to water it in back there, but we're going to use Natural Adjuvant in the area that we're not going to water in, simply because the adjuvant's going to help it to stick to the plant, going to help it get inside the plant, be more effective without the water, blah blah blah, you know the story. One thing with the Natural Adjuvant is you do need to check the pH. So I got my finished solution right here. I'm going to check the pH. 2.60. You ideally want it at around a 5 or below. Some of these products that you use have a natural super low pH, and that's actually to your favor, because if they didn't, you'd have to use some citric acid to lower it. Let's say you had a mixture and the pH was around a 6 or 6.5, pick one, and you would use the citric acid to lower that pH slowly down to a 5 or below. But in this case, I'm well below a 5, so I'm good to go. I don't have to use any of that. I would simply take a 1/2 ounce per 1,000, put it into the tank, go spray my yard. Now the way I've got my sprayer set up, this is a Strom 4-gallon battery, and I've got my sprayer nozzle assembly. I can cover 8,000 square feet off 4 gallons of water. My yard is 17,000, so that's about 8,500 if you divide that by 2. So I'm gonna stretch it just a little bit, make this go 8,500 square feet, and fill up twice. That way I do my entire 17,000 square feet in 2 fill-ups. The test plot back there, I get you to remeasure it. I've kind of forgotten over the years, but I want to say it's around 10,000-ish. And then I'm just going to do 1 fill-up with it and make my whole 4 gallons cover that 10,000 square foot area. So, hey, thank you for watching. I appreciate your time, and I'll link all this stuff up in the description. You can check it out. I'm gonna leave you with a little bit more mowing action and a little flyover action. You know, I like to throw those drone shots in there, and it's a real pretty time of the year. All these cool season yards are really popping. Bermuda's starting to kind of go downhill just a little bit. And again, if you're not into that super heavy freeze yet, and that super hard frost 2 or 3 days in a row hadn't really hit, you know, you're still in the prime time for fescue and bluegrass and rye and cool season turf. And so, you know, it don't hurt to go out there and put a little iron on it and help darken it up, kind of lock that color in. I'm trying to kind of lock the color in before I get to the holidays, because once all that hardcore freezing happens, the ground freezes, and you forget about fertilizer, you're just wasting your money. So you want to get that down now before all that happens. Say, I appreciate you again. I'll check you later.